One where he, I can't remember what the sound was. I'll just find it.
Like, I mean, I say lame, it's like 46 or so, but like, I mean, but.
He said lame, man. 46 seconds.
You're running in a straight line on the road.
Did y'all see that dude? I don't have a clue what I'm saying. Guys, this month is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I think this is something that has been more at the forefront of people's conversations nowadays when we have the pushing of mental health. And so we're going to start off the podcast by just being vulnerable, just being open. How are you guys doing with your mental so far? Just start with you, Titus.
I was doing fine until you said ran. like I forgot I wasn't an athlete anymore. Mm-hmm. It's been a transition, man. It's been tough, not gonna lie. Thankfully, I'm kind of in a situation where I have other things that are kind of the next steps in the next phase of my life. So transitioning from being an athlete to the real world, just worrying about things like housing bills and insurance and taxes. Like, what are taxes? Like, that's,
I still don't know. My mom's an accountant.
But I mean, it's going all right, bro. Like, it makes me really thankful for kind of my mentality early on and like setting myself up for this transition and getting ready and seeing other athletes who came before me, their transition, how it wasn't as easy, and just being able to prepare myself after seeing them. So that's really what I want to get the message out to people now. Like, if you're in college and you're performing at the highest level of track and field or whatever sport, just get ready for the next step, because you're not going to be able to perform at a high level for the rest of your life. And it's really difficult. Like, we were all high level athletes, like winning championships every year. And when it's over, and you can appreciate it for the time you had. But at some point you got to move on. So it's just a matter of getting ready early on and preparing yourself for the next steps in life.
Diggs, how's the mental, man?
I've been a has-been for a while, dude. No, I come out here, that's one thing. Like I said, the first time I was on here, I was super thankful for Coach T giving me the opportunity to come out here and hang out with these guys and girls that are still out here. I still have a little coaching opportunity out here, and I love that, love coming out here every day, because it's what I've always loved to do, and I still love to do it. But yeah, that transition sucks. It's terrible. And you can't, the terrible part is there's not much that you can do to make that not happen. It's gonna suck either way, because, you know, I was talking to Titus a couple months ago about how, you know, he had an injury, and this really kick-started some of the things that he has going on right now. And he said that he was glad that he had something else going on to not have to think about track. But that track was always there. Mm-hmm. And it was still, like, you knew it was on that back burner, and it was there for you when you came back.
Yeah.
Well, now, like, that was my thing is, you know, my hamstring's pulled right now, but it's always going to be there until it's not. And then it's like, what am I doing? Yeah. You know, like, what am I doing out here? You know, like, I think one of the weird things about being a college athlete is you kind of have this complex, because you're, like it or not, if you're a Division I athlete, you're one of the best athletes in the world. And so we glamorize it and kind of downplay it a little bit in the United States, because people are good here in the United States, and we have people from all over the world come over here to do college track. But when all that ends, you're a regular person. So I think the big thing about mental health and staying well is finding something you freaking like, man. Find something you like and do it. Find something you like and do it. And don't be afraid to say, hey, this sucks. That's a huge thing. Like, you can't be afraid to say, hey, I'm struggling, because you can either struggle by yourself or you can struggle with other people who are struggling. So
the bar right there.
So I'm a little bit farther out of it, because I've had a little bit of time to cope with it and you know, kind of turn into a regular person. But I still struggle with it every day. You know, I still want to go out there and think about running at the track, or think about, you know, being able to run what I used to run in the 4. It was like, hey, you can't do that anymore. But what can you do? Like, what are you good at? What do you like to do? Let's do that. You know, so I like talking about it because it was a struggle point for me, and now it's not. So I like helping people. So.
True. I feel that though. I feel like all in all, my mental is good. I mean, it sucked yesterday. I came into town. I had to go to my cousin's funeral. So coming back in town for something like that is not always, fun. And just kind of show you have to appreciate life. Life's short. They always say that, but when you're kind of like 10 feet from a casket from somebody you grew up with, it's kind of, a sucky thing. I feel like overall, my mental is good. We just talked about like getting done with everything. I just got done at Auburn, and I don't feel like I had the panic mode or anything, but it was definitely something where I was like, dang, what am I gonna do? Who am I gonna be? All in all, I feel like my mental's good. I feel like for me, my mental battles, if I have them, are definitely fought, with God. He helps me along. I don't have that fight by myself. And I think if there's a message out there to people, if you feel like you're alone, you're never alone. Even if, believer, non-believer, you always got somebody in your corner to fight, even when you feel like you can't fight anymore. So I think that's the biggest thing, and having friends and family, and if they aren't there, you got God on your side always. So I feel like that's where I'm currently at with the mental aspect. But you guys kind of took it away early about life after track and field. We are all considered has-beens now, which is crazy. But the biggest thing, or the biggest question I have is, do you really feel like you can prepare for life after sport? Can anything truly prepare you other than just going out and having that experience?
I think there's a way. Like I said, I had plans for after track that I was in the works of before it ended, but I can see easily how it's really difficult for people. Just because if you're any athlete, honestly, and you want to be the best you can be, you're going to be driving towards a championship or a personal best, or helping your team in the best way you can. So you're going to be working towards a goal, which is one of those things I just listed. And once that goal or personal best goal isn't there anymore, it's like, what now? Like, what's my quote unquote goal for life? And if you haven't prepared yourself for that phase of life, it can be really, really difficult. But I definitely think there's a way to mitigate some of the tough feelings that come with that transition.
What you got?
I think it's a struggle a lot of times because I would say about 50% of the population is like me. The population, as far as Division I athletes, 50% of them are like me in the fact that I loved what I did. Mm-hmm. I love track and field. I loved it. I enjoyed getting to come out here and blow off some steam from doing the thing that I didn't like to do, which is school. So I was at school to run track. I was an athlete student. Okay, we can throw that backwards, but the hardest thing to me is what I was just saying: finding something you like when that number one thing that you liked and were able to do all the time is gone. So people are not like, I don't go out, walk on the sidewalk, and people are not expecting me to run 45 seconds in the 4 anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are not expecting me to run 47 or run 20 seconds in the 2 anymore. They don't care. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares if I can do that. People care if you have these status symbols that are constantly changing now, but in the world of track and field, those times are royalty. Mm-hmm. In the real world, nobody cares. Yeah. So finding something that you do like is a whole game changer. Finding a hobby outside of even working out. You got to stay healthy. Number one thing, got to stay healthy. Number one priority, please. But please, the stuff I'm doing now, it makes my job a whole lot easier if you're healthy, okay? I can find everything I need to find, all that. Anyway, so this stage of life is a big deal because you can either suck at life or you can win. You know what I'm saying? So if you let that get you down, if you let that hole just continue to drag you down, you can go do whatever you want. You can get into drugs, live under an overpass, whatever. It's super easy. I didn't realize that. It's super easy.
I can see you getting lost.
Yes.
I guess that's a real quote you could say, because I was talking to some of our athletic administrators at Auburn. I'm like, you guys, these specific ladies, Ms. Janice Robinson, Michelle Kesey, Megan Hushire, shout out to you guys again. But I was telling Ms. Janice, I was like, man, you guys have like worked overtime to help prepare us and help student athletes who are seniors and going on post-career to kind of get them ready. But like, no matter who comes and speak to us, how many forms we fill out, what our resume looks like, it's still going to be different. Because we're used to, we got 6 years, you got 4 years, but a college athletic experience in general, you're going to be used to having your schedule mapped out every week, and you know what you're going to be doing. When I got done, it wasn't on my terms, which burns me up because I don't feel like I ended it the way I wanted to. But despite that, when it's done, I was like, crap, like, I'm waking up. What am I going to do? Like, I don't have anything to do. And I think that's something that all student athletes, no matter how good or talented you were, if you had that experience, everybody has that moment where they're like, okay, what's next? And I feel like that's a natural thing, and it's an okay thing. I feel like there's a lot of student athletes. Track now is ending. A lot of people are putting out their, end of the career posts, and they're probably thinking, hey, what am I going to do? No matter if you have everything lined up, it's still going to be a different feel. And I think for me, it was just like, I got to find something to fill this void. And like you just mentioned, you got to fill it with the right things because you could easily get lost and lose yourself in your way. But I do think being a college athlete equips you to be able to attack life. You just got to figure out which angle you're going to attack it.
That's exactly what you just said is what I was thinking in my head. People downplay how big of a competition life is. Life is a competition in and of itself. And it's not lame to make your competition your life. If you can win your life by doing thing A, thing B, thing C, you're a great person.
Yeah. And it's not even always with other people. Like, it's a competition within yourself.
Within yourself.
Like,
yep.
Can I do
that's track in general.
Exactly. Exactly. Can I do this? Can I do that? Am I going to wake up every day and go work out? Or am I going to wake up and eat right when I have a chance to eat right? Am I going to eat honey buns day in and day out? Am I going to drink all this sugary content, no matter what anyone says, no matter what they say, no matter how much it affects your mental,
Yeah. Yeah. You made a good point. And we talked about this literally like doing our BTS stuff coming in here, like the figuring out what you want to eat. Like that's so overlooked. And I tell people like, bro, I'm realizing now, man, we got spoiled. Like being able to have your meals done for and you just go in there and you can pick and eat healthy then, but you can kind of prepare what you want to eat. Going out there and going to grocery, bro, I went to, shout out Aldi, love Aldi. I went to Aldi and I remember calling my dad. I was like, dude, I haven't grocery shopped for real ever. I was like, only time I ever went to the grocery store if I had to get like toiletry items or I wanted to get some candy. Yep. Going out there and learning how to prepare stuff for yourself in this real world can get overwhelming. But I feel like just how we found our way within track and field, and that was a new experience, or college athletics, that was a new experience from high school, we can find our way in life and win that life, I think is key. Just set those goals from the track, from the basketball court, from the football field, gymnastics mat, whatever you're doing. Set those goals from there, transition them over to life, and just go hit those goals the same way you tried to do when you were a college athlete. I feel like that's the best way you can be.
I think I've bashed college sports in a way a lot just because it's hard to transition, but I do think the one that we did kind of prepares you the best. Because, well, it's not just the one, ours, gymnastics, swimming.
Mainly the Olympic ones.
Anything like that, that's an individual sport. Because you make your own motivation. If I'm in Titus's race, I'm Titus's enemy for 13 seconds. So track and gymnastics, the ones I just listed, create a lot of self-mental fortitude. Whereas I'm not relying on anybody else. I'm not bashing football or basketball or baseball or anything else, but that team, they hopefully get their family, move away, things like that. You might stay local with a couple of them, but having that individual mental drive helps a ton. Because it becomes just an instinct. When hey, I got to get out of this hole. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things that I like about track and those other sports.
You talked about transition, and we look at college athletics now as making huge transition with all these NIL rules, and now the pay to play. They're giving $20 million, I believe, to each P4, which is weird to say now instead of P5.
I'm still gonna say P5.
P5, P4, the big schools, $20 million to be able to disperse between all the athletics to give to different athletes. What do you guys? I mean, we were there when NIL started, the summer of 2021. I will never forget when that dropped. Everybody was posting that one post like, I'm open to all NIL inquiry, like the same thing. So. You remember that?
People with like 100 followers are probably
It's only relevant to like the Cameron twins. So, I mean, but I think that we have seen the development in the 3 years that it's been around, and now you got the pay to play. Do you guys feel like this is a positive for college athletics, being that we're athletes, we have that perspective? Start with you, Diggs.
I actually had a whole conversation about this thing with my grandma.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, people of that generation, my grandma's 75, and she loves sports, okay? She loves sport. If the NBA Finals is on in my house, it's because my grandma's watching it. I love it. I'll sit down and watch it with her all day. But she was talking about how she thought, you know, her words were, I think they're already getting paid because they're paying for their school. That's a lot of people who haven't had the college athlete experience have that thought process. I don't discount that thought process. I don't think it's a dumb way to think. I just think it's an inexperienced way to think. Mm-hmm. So with us, we all know we got scholarships. I was still broke. Okay. I didn't see a stitch of that money, not a penny. Okay. I'm still paying the stuff that I didn't get. All right. So, the analogy that I brought up was, look, Johnny Manziel's really popular in the media right now. He did a lot of stuff for Reggie Bush. I was on board with that. Props to Johnny Manziel. But he's in the media right now, so I use this analogy for my grandma. I'm like, hey, how many people you think were in Kyle Field wearing a number 2 jersey with Manziel on the back of it?
It wasn't on the back, so they couldn't pay him.
Okay,
but
so
you know that's your jersey.
So yeah, all right. So who was wearing number 2? Johnny Manziel, and who else? Nobody. So it's the implication is there, but that scholarship was paid how many times over by those jersey sales? Probably 100, 200, I don't know. So Texas A&M is now in the green from Johnny Manziel. They're not paying anything. They're actually making money. Did he see any of that money? No. Mm-hmm. So using that analogy, it's like, and even my grandma was like, oh yeah, well when you put it like that, he kind of got screwed over. Yeah, like, and a lot of people are seeing it that way now. Now, I don't think you should be able, this is just my personal opinion, it'll probably be unpopular. I don't think you should be able to get paid until you compete for that school. I don't think somebody should be able to bribe you with money, not bribe, but like
that's
wave this. I mean, I don't think somebody should be able to wave this dollar amount in front of your face to get you to come here. Now, if you already go there, it's like, hey, you know, we have these local businesses and they're probably going to want to sponsor you if you do well. That's freaking awesome. Ride with it. Like, all these college athletes are in these Gatorade commercials now. That's freaking cool. That is so cool. But waving this dollar amount in front of somebody's nose to get them to come there and then promising that and not requiring any backup performance metrics is creating, in my mind, is creating a lazy culture. Because what it does is say, hey, I'll give you this because of what you already done and you don't have to do anything else.
That's true.
And so we're seeing a lot more people who fall off because that drive is gone. Man, I'm set. I got $250,000. They gave me a Mercedes. They gave my mom a house. I'm done.
That drive is gone because you're not going to feel like doing anything at that point.
Yeah,
but I know
that's my take on it.
Like a personal standpoint, if we're in like a lower revenue sport.
Yep.
But if they're going to give us, even if they give us $10K, say we're at Sanford, they're giving us $10K. That's a lot of money.
That's a bunch of money.
Flip that, boy.
Yeah. From the outside perspective, though, they're going to be like, okay, he's on a scholarship. Why does he need that? Scholarship covers our food, our tuition, our books, cost of living here. But what about when we go out? What about gas? What about, we don't have the money, and this is basically a full-time job. So I've always been an advocate for NIL. I think NIL is important because, like you said, the school is making X amount of dollars, so much off of the athletes, they should be able to do something, get something. But I don't want it, like you said, I don't want it to create a culture to where athletes are only caring about the money like it's professionals, because we haven't gotten to that level yet, that status yet. When you're a professional athlete, you're able to, that's your job at that point. That is why you are doing what you're doing. You're able to negotiate. You're able to be here for that, because everybody else that's going to work their 9 to 5, that's what they're doing. They're on salary. That's different then. And I understand what you're saying about, like, don't wait until be like, we'll give you $2 million if you come here. Now, granted, if they're giving you $2 million, who am I to say you don't deserve the $2 million? But at the same time, I don't want it to be where it's not college athletics anymore. Nobody cares about actually showing up, working hard, representing their team, and fighting for the people alongside them, their teammates. So I don't want it to become that.
I think there's also some gray area there, because when you also think about the people who, I'm going to the league, I'm going to go to this school, and I'm going to go to the league. Before NIL, like, it's one mentality. But now that you have NIL for the people who are saying, I want to go to the league, but genuinely aren't talented enough and don't have the opportunity, no matter how hard they work, to go, this NIL space creates something that is not to that NFL level, but something that can change your life anyway while you're in school. So it really is a lot of gray area there too, because a lot of these people who are saying, I'm going to go to the league, I got to choose a major? What major? I'm going to choose whatever major. And you don't get any benefit from it. Yeah. But you're putting all your eggs in this basket to go to the NFL. Well, this provides an opportunity to where if you don't go to the NFL, you still have, if you're wise with it, an opportunity to change your life along the way too. So it's really hard to distinguish who's who in that situation, because like you said, there are people who are going to get to college and it's like, oh, I've made it. I'm good now. Yeah. Like, I'm good, and buy a couple cars and it's gone by the time they're out. But there's also people who are going to get to college and say, well, I'm not talented enough to go to the NFL because of XYZ reasons. But while I'm here, I'm getting this stipend, I'm getting this NIL money from this school, from this so-and-so here and there, and I can start my own business. I can make money off of what I'm doing at the school. I can give back to my community, help start nonprofits, like whatever you need to do that can change your life along the way while you're in college. So it also opens up that pool of people who are the 1%ers to go to the NFL a little bit wider for people who are still in college to benefit from the money in that space.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And the 1%ers you talk about, there's a 1% of the 1% within the college athletics that gets to compete at nationals at the end of every year. And they just competed in Oregon. So we saw the performance they put on. You had Florida on the men's side taking home the crown, Arkansas on the women's side taking on the crown. But what performances stuck out to you overall throughout that event?
I'm going to give it to Jamarian Stubbs, because I saw it with my own eyes before I knew who he was. Like, we were at a smaller meet. This dude comes out and runs, what was it, 45?
Oh, yeah.
He ran 45 in the 4. I was like, bro, who is that? Come out to find out it was Jamarian Stubbs. And we get to regionals. Dude's not even in the 4. He's running the 2 and the 1. Yeah. And then he goes to regionals. He's running, what did he run? He ran 9 something. Did he run 9? I know he ran 19 something in regionals. Yeah, moved on to nationals, all from an HBCU, bro. Like, putting on for the HBCU.
It was like,
guy. Yeah.
Shout out to him,
bro. Yes. He was killing it. Sophomore too. So you're not done seeing him.
Yeah. See, I don't want to take away your point.
Unless he goes pro.
But will he stay at state or will he transfer?
Yep.
That's the question. That's why I'm like.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dang. Go ahead, Diggs.
I like Caleb Dean. I think going from what he did indoors, and then a little bit of disappointment in the middle, and then coming back outdoors is like, what did we say? He didn't make the 110s, and then turned around and made it in the 400s.
Dude got hurt after. I'm pretty sure he got hurt after indoor nationals after he won the 60 hurdles.
Right.
Didn't make the 110 hurdles. Like,
and it was like,
let me just run the number 2 all the time.
I'll just do the worst event in track and field. And so, I mean, 47-20, what is it, 23?
Yeah,
47-23 is just, I mean, that's just diabolical.
Insane, man.
I mean,
hamstrings will fall off.
You can't say anything about that other than, like, he, like you just said, he's number 2 all time.
Nobody was talking about him in the race. Now he's one of the favorites to go to Paris.
He's like, how are y'all? So, I mean, you got to give it to that guy. What an amazing performance.
You know, I got to give it to my Tigers, man. I got to give it to Auburn, man. Coming in, you know, on paper, you know how sometimes don't always go on paper. And I don't think we expect to compete, but I don't think we expected to do what we did, you know, really only losing the national championship by one point. I was so proud of those guys and what they were able to put on for a display. You had two freshmen get on the podium, second and third. Favor put on a great performance. The 4x1 goes national champions. Then you had Keyshawn in the javelin, who's been battling injury pretty much for 2 years, come out there and put on performance to get points. And it's something where it is a bittersweet, I guess you say, because when I chose to leave Sanford after I got my degree and perform with the team, one of the big reasons I wanted to leave is because I wanted to compete for a team title. Like, that was a big thing to me. I feel like I had done a lot of stuff individually, but there's nothing like a team. I don't care what anybody says. Like, in this individual sport, it's great doing stuff, you know, by yourself, but nothing like doing it with a team. And so to see those guys go out there and do what the reason I came there for, but I couldn't be able to perform with them, I was so proud of them, but I was like, dang, like, I really wish I was out there because I know what I can do healthy. I know what I could perform for the team, and I felt like, man, I really feel like we, you know, could have got that thing. But I was so proud of what they were able to do and bringing something to the university. I don't think we finished in the top 3 since 2006, 2007. We won in 06, the women's did. But the men, it's been a long, long time. So for them guys to go out there and be able to put on and represent for Auburn and bring something back and just shows the trajectory of the program that has been going in the last 2 years, I think was really impressive. But got to give the shout out to Auburn. And on a non-biased note, got to give it to Mackenzie Long from Ole Miss. Triple crown, the 1, the 2, the 4x1. And to be able to do that despite the circumstance she had, losing her mother earlier in the year, like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know if I would even be able to muster up enough strength and courage to be able to go out there and suit up, let alone go out there and do something that, don't fact check me, has that been done? Triple crown on the women's side?
I think Julian Alfred did it.
Well, she's in pretty good company. Yeah. Julian Alfred just won the Bowerman last year.
They won 4-1, didn't they?
Yeah.
I know.
But I'm almost positive they did because we were there.
You're like, whoa.
But I definitely got to give the shout out to Mackenzie Long because that was a great performance. She's done tremendous work, and she's not done. You've got the trials coming up, and she's probably going to be a Bowerman finalist. So just proud of her. Shout out to her if you do see this. But NCAA track and field is something where I think is one of the hardest things to do, honestly. And we've all been in it. 6 years, 4 years. Lando behind the camera. Lando, how many years you been doing this?
8.
That's tough.
In college.
Bro.
4 years in college. So everybody in this room
Lando's 28.
Everybody in this room right now knows about the experience of track and field, but everybody has their welcome to track and field moment. So what was your welcome to college track and field moment?
I'm going last.
Fine. I'm trying to think. I had a welcome to track and field moment every 2 weeks or so. No, I think I had 2. The first practice and then the first kind of mock meet we had. The first practice we had 2-minute runs. If you don't know what 2-minute runs are, you're very glad, very lucky individual. They're terrible. I've never thrown up in a workout still to this day, but I was doing some mean dry heaving not to throw up. But I had never run that far ever. And we did it God knows how many times for how long. And it was 8,000 degrees out here. And I was just like, man, like, is this really what this is like? You know, like I'm not running fast and I'm not like getting a lot of rest. Like, I feel like a marathon runner right now. Like, this is crazy. But I think that was my kind of welcome to track and field workout. And then, this is a funny story. I've never told any of y'all this, but during the first mock meet we had, I was a freshman, and I kind of had a big head because I was, in Alabama high school track and field. You were the guy. I was the fast white dude. Okay, that's what everybody said. There's that fast white dude. Nobody knew my name. it was just there's a fast white dude. So a fair amount of people knew me because we're has-beens, remember? But a fair amount of people knew me. And so I kind of came in here and I was like, man, on paper, again, I'm the fastest 400 runner we have by a couple seconds. Like, this should be cake. So we're running a little 4x4 and it's a mixed relay. So we have 2 girls and 2 guys. And I get the baton a little bit after my roommate gets the baton.
Who's your roommate?
Jordan Woodbine.
Shout out Woody.
If you're listening to this, you're that guy. But I got the baton, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be freaking cake. I'm going to hawk his butt down in 50 meters or so. I'm going to win by a mile, and we're all going to go home, and we're going to laugh about it. Well, I never caught him. And I was tired. Okay, I ran, and he ran too. He lit me up. Okay, he didn't extend the gap, but I dang sure didn't close it. Okay. And so I was like,
Gotta put in some more work.
Maybe everybody here's the real deal. So that was kind of my welcome to track and field. That was the, hey, here we go.
So what's up? Shelby McEwen gave me my track and field moment. He's an Olympian, former NCAA champion. So it was my first ever indoor meet here at Sanford. And I came in 6'10" was my PR. Now, I had never opened up with anything higher than 6 feet in high school. So I get out there, warm up, ready to go. I jump 2 meters. That's like almost 6'7" for all you non-metric people out there. I'm thinking I'm doing my thing. I'm like, bet. I was like, I ain't never opened up that high. I'm like, I'm jumping, doing my thing. I'm
Enter
like,
Shelby.
Okay, I'm out. I'm good. Put on my suit, go up in the stands, sit down. I'm like, dang, yeah, I did good. I left when it was probably got to I don't know, 2:15. I'm like, I don't need to be here. I'm good. I'm sitting up there, and then all of a sudden I hear, I'm like, what the world are they clapping about? Here goes Shelby. And if you know Shelby, he's on the left side, so he's closest to me. I'm like, they still jumping? Shelby goes over there, and he's attempting 224.
Yeah.
That is 7'4" and a quarter, 7'4" and a half. And I'm like, I thought I was doing something. I jumped 6'7". And so I'm like, dang, I've really got to keep going. It was kind of it was 2 separate track meets. We're not in the same meet. So for me, it was like, okay, there's a lot more to this game than I thought. A guy jumping 7'4", and the meet ain't over. I left when it was just approaching 7 feet. So I was like, I've really got to go. And I think really it was definitely Shelby. Bro, my first ever meet, I was like, what the heck is going on? I got a long way to go.
I have stories about my welcome to track and field moment, but they were all blurred from this season. And what I mean by that is, let me just take you back. February 16th, New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. 7:46 Central Time. The United States Track and Field Indoor Toyota Championships. Titus Moore, 7-time SoCon champion, SoCon record holder, indoor and outdoor, lane 8, excuse me. Lane 6. Olympic silver medalist, Grant Holloway. So I'm like, all right, I'm there. I'm here. I'm with these guys.
Who was it?
Let's get out. DNS. So I was on the island by myself.
For all of you guys, that means did not start. It was blank.
Casper was in lane.
No one lane. Grant Holloway, world record holder.
Yeah.
I get out, first step, driving. Best drive of my life. Let's go. I'm in it. I might not win because Grant's in this race, but I'm in it. Let's go. I get out of my drive. I look up. Grant's already over the first hurdle. So I'm like, you know what? Grant, false start. They're gonna shoot the second gun. We're gonna go back and we're gonna start again. I'm fine. I'll do that. That's fine. Nope. World record. So. So you ran 7:27. 7:27. People don't run 7:27 in their open 60s. So I get over my last hurdle. I run a horrible race.
Sophomore year, I ran 7:26.
I dive. As I'm diving, I hear world record. So I'm like, well, they're not talking about me. So I look up, Grant's looking at me, he's unzipping his little speed suit, walking off, screaming, cheering. I'm like, good job, Grant. Grant's like, let's go. Didn't hear me or anything. I walk back, putting up my spikes. I see Grant put on his spikes, like, good job, Grant. He's like, appreciate it, bro. Walks off. Didn't even do the final. So at that point, I'm like, you know what? This isn't my. He only ran the prelim.
Oh, sure.
I did not know that either.
So at that point, I'm like, you know what? This is it. Let me go start filling out applications. Let me start focusing on what comes after track. Because so I tell you that to say that was not my welcome to track. That was my track is over, Titus. Let's go. Start looking at life.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into my track is over moments.
Shout out Grant, bro. Shout out Grant. Dude's different.
Yeah, Grant Holloway's a freak, man, and we both got smacked by Olympian, so can't feel that bad.
Hey, I mean, and honestly, in about 10 years, I'll probably say I got second place.
Just, the stories get a little bit more.
Yeah. I'll tell my kids, I'm like, I got second place. I won't say first because it was the world record, and like that just wouldn't add up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, we're on the track. Let's get off of the track and get onto the court because it's basketball season. I'm sure you guys have seen all of the publicity and notoriety towards the WNBA. And personally, I'm going to be honest, before this season, I ain't watched no WNBA game.
Never.
I kept up with a few people here and there, but I didn't really watch the WNBA. What do you think about all the new publicity and push that their league is getting now?
I think it's awesome. I mean, I think there's a lot of back and forth with players in the league right now not liking certain players in the league. So it's just, I don't think a lot of it's true. I think it's just a competitive spirit that's been there, but we're just seeing it in real time. So it's just like, oh, what's going on? Like, why is this the way it is? But I think they're just high-level athletes at the end of the day. I think it's incredible. I feel like there's a lot of revenue being brought to the sport because of the new faces and what's being seen. But I love it.
I mean, if I had a perfect answer, I'd probably say exactly what you said. I think it's really cool because coming from one of those sports that doesn't get a lot of notoriety, I think it's really cool anytime you can shine a light on some athletes that don't really ever get the spotlight. But as far as like the little bickering going on between those certain athletes, I think that's freaking dumb. I mean, just play basketball. I mean, like at the end of the day, there's been so many changes because of the extra viewership that you're getting. So just ride with it, bro. Just ride with it. I mean, if you're getting to fly, if you've flown coach and then you're getting to fly private or you're staying in these nice hotels, sleep in a nice bed and shut up, man. I mean, it's like,
I'm with y'all because I feel like, no disrespect to the ladies that have been putting on for years, like the Diana Taurasi's and all of them that have been going crazy for years, but this rookie class is showing out. At the helm, we already know. It's Caitlin Clark. Then you got Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, like all these, Rakia Jackson. Yeah. All these new rookies are bringing a different level of attention to the sport. New viewers, everybody likes to see because it derived from college. And I think Angel Reese made a great point. She said this all started when we won the national championship. And honestly, I think it did because me personally, I hadn't have a clue who Caitlin Clark was until that Final Four when they beat South Carolina and made their way on to the national championship. And it all started from there. Now they're in the big league, but at a time, the big league wasn't getting as much attention as college. Now they've shifted all that to the WNBA. And you see what's going on with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's a baller. Let's be honest. Like, she's a baller. And I do think that there is a certain level of animosity because there are a lot of vets or people that have been in the league for a while being like, hey, we've been doing this. Just because she gets in the league doesn't mean that, we haven't done this for a while. It's just getting the attention now. And like you said, as track and field athletes, we can appreciate that because we've been doing this. So I think I understand that level, but I do think while there's a respect level, there is animosity and jealousy. Yeah. People knocking her down and doing all this that aren't making basketball plays. I understand competitiveness. Yeah. I'm all about competitiveness, but when you're making non-basketball plays to go at somebody, what's your reason? And you really need to look yourself in the mirror and say, are you doing this for the right reasons, out of respect? And I just think it just goes to show where no matter what sport you play, there's always competitiveness. There's always jealousy. There's always somebody trying to be the best. There's always envy. There's always somebody pushing towards a goal. And there's new people coming in each year. And we know that firsthand with track and field. All these new freshmen coming in and shit, we've been here 6 years, time to go. So
who's the one from South Carolina? I can't remember her name. She has red hair. And I can't remember her name, but I've been rocking with her ever since she knocked that girl down.
Oh, Camila Cardozo. Oh, my gosh. Flage, if you see this, I'm sorry.
I like both of them. I don't care. I just like the competitiveness. I was like, hey, don't fool with my teammates, okay?
I will say that. I feel like that, though, that definitely brought a lot of viewers and made it hype. Like, you saw that everywhere. Like, granted,
everywhere.
A fight does not need to be what drives you to watch women's basketball because they do be balling, but the men's do it all the time. You always see bickering and people getting into it, and that's always put at the forefront. And I don't think it needs to be based on that, but that does drive viewership. That does get people to continue to watch the quote-unquote rivalry, get people tuned in for longer than just national championship game. Because if you're only watching for the national championship game, not watching these regular season games, it's just like, what's it for? You know? So I think that's important. And then, what are your thoughts on Caitlin Clark being left off the Olympic team? It's Olympic year, and I feel like she's one of the most popular, definitely a talented athlete, but she's not going to be a part of that roster going to Paris.
I think it can go both ways, honestly. I mean, from what I understand from the coaching, who made this coaching staff or selection committee, like they said they put together the best team. They weren't looking at viewership or what potential viewership or anything like that. And I mean, I can understand it. Like, I immediately thought back of when Anthony Davis was a rookie and he made the Olympic team. He barely got any burn because that team was incredible. So, I mean, there's already established people in the league who are world-class athletes, and Caitlin Clark is obviously going to be one of the world-class athletes on the team eventually. I think the selection committee just didn't think she was there yet. I personally think she should have been on there regardless, as like an Anthony Davis type.
Yeah, like Christian Laettner had made it one year. Like, even though they didn't really like him, I still think you put him on the team. We'll go ahead, Diggs.
I mean, I don't know if this story has any merit or anything like that. I don't know. What I'm saying is I don't know if it's true or if it was some whatever. But what I heard was like she did something. She missed some practice or tryout or something like that because she was playing in the Final Four or the championship game or something like that. She missed some evaluation period. I can go both ways on that. Like, hey, you missed it. You had this going on. It wasn't like you were sitting on the couch and missed it. Like you had a good time, you know, but you just didn't get to have your cake and eat it too. But at the same time, I do think she's one of the best in the league, and I do think they could have given her the nod.
Yeah.
You know, like
the nod would have been like, I distinctly remember like while she was playing, they were like, well, this is her audition. Like, this is her tryout.
Exactly. Because again, it's not like she was sitting on the couch and just didn't go. It's like, what in that tryout were you going to put her through that was different than what she did?
That's in-game stuff.
Yeah,
Now, granted, the talent level is way different.
Right.
Too. But a point you made, and I think is something that needs to be shifted in the WNBA, like their breakdown and how they do stuff. Granted, I'm not on any committee, but this is just a suggestion. I don't like how the season starts so quickly after the college season. Like, you going from a grueling season that starts end of November, middle of November, all the way to March, April, really, especially if you're competing for a national championship like they've done the last 2 years. Then you get a little draft that's like, 2 weeks afterwards? Then you go to the regular season like 3 weeks after that. Like, that's taxing on the body.
I feel like it's more broadcasting stuff, though, because, like, if you think about it, they can't, because of viewership, they can't do it during the NBA, during normal men's, and then fall is football. Like, it's football. So, I mean, it's kind of a tough, I mean, obviously, if they bring up viewership, they could try something to compete, like, in between. I feel like in between football and basketball, having their season right in the smack middle, competing with viewership, I think while, like, early NBA season, or like mid, like All-Star weekend type season, you have the finals of the WNBA. We're like timing up that way. I think that would be optimal.
I think it'll be straight. We just like, once they figure out what type of evaluation they want to do, now that you've got the popularity, now that you got the pop, you really have to hone in when it comes to marketing. Like Stephen A. Smith was talking about the marketing aspect, and I understand. If you deserve it and you're the best player, the best players need to be on that team. But you're not going to sit up here and tell me that somebody who I feel like it's a draft class just with her leading. I'm not going to say it's just Caitlin Clark. I feel like it's a draft class with her leading the way. They're bringing in millions of new viewers. There's nothing wrong with throwing her on the bench. Honestly, you should put Andrew Reese and Cameron Brink and Caitlin Clark on the team. And even if they don't get no clock, they're getting the experience. I feel like that's going to not only bring in viewers just to see if they do play, but it's also going to let them, who are going to be the future of the sport down the road, continue to learn and grow. But going from WNBA knocking off that W, we got the NBA, and the draft is coming up soon.
That was a good transition, though.
You like that? You like that? I'm getting good with this, guys.
Not bad at all.
Yes.
I might use that. I don't know where.
Maybe if you have you can turn that W into an M for the Moore's Granola.
Guys, this is the sponsor of today's podcast, Moore's Granola. If you're a student athlete or anyone with an active lifestyle who wants something a little bit sweet, but it's something that just isn't too much on the body, no chemicals, no preservatives, come to Moore's. We got you. Now back to the broadcast.
All right, guys, the NBA draft is coming up, and we haven't really seen the projected first pick or second or third pick. We've seen the projected 55th pick, Bronny James, to the Lakers. First off, do you guys think that Bronny's going to get drafted? And if he does get drafted, is it going to be based on his talent level or the last name on the back of his jersey?
I want to talk first on this one. I don't know a bit about any of this, okay? So them two are going to talk about this, and I'm going to agree with what they say. All right? Ready to go.
That is Bronny getting drafted or what?
Yeah, I think he'll get drafted. I think Bronny's very talented, guy. I think because he has James Jr. on his jersey, it gives him a lot of people on his case. Like, oh, bro, like why shouldn't be drafted? He's nowhere near LeBron. Mm-hmm. That dude is a bucket, and he can guard, and he knows how to play the game in a way that wins basketball games. And like you can see it from his high school days. He was playing in a way that won games. And then when he got to USC, everyone knows that college basketball is a lot different than pro and high school. Like it's a system. You have to fit within the system. If you're a bucket, if you're a Rob Dillingham, you'll show out because you're a bucket no matter what. But he's not a bucket. He's a good basketball player who knows how to win games in a way that's taught by his father. So I think he'll get drafted. I think he'll need some time to develop. I think some of his measurements and metrics that we saw in Combine might affect him because people were expecting him to be a true 6'3" or 6'4", whatever he was listed at. But coming in at 6'1", I think the scouts and NBA people inside the NBA already knew that, but the spectators outside of it were like, oh, he shouldn't be drafted at all if he's that short.
Yeah.
But I think he's a good player.
I think that, number one, like you said, Bronny's a great player, but it doesn't matter who he was. If your father is LeBron James, you're already going to be under that spotlight your whole life, no matter what. So it didn't matter if he went and put up 25 points per game in college. People are going to have an opinion, whether positive or negative. I don't know, and I pray to the good Lord that nobody in this room either knows what it feels like to go through cardiac arrest. He went through that in the summer and continued to play a season. Limited minutes, then you continue to grow. I don't see how people don't take that into consideration.
Very true. I forgot about that because he was playing decent.
Yeah, he was playing really well. Then you have that cardiac arrest. Like, it's going to take time just in general to, number one, have the confidence, make sure your body is really okay to go back out there and compete. Now, granted, me personally, I'm not LeBron, so I'm not his father. I'm not in his corner at all. Me personally, I would have said stay to continue to grow. He decides to go into the draft. I remember I tagged you in an Instagram post where Rich Paul said that we're not taking any two-way contracts. I don't personally like that because you're limiting a big pool of opportunities. There's a lot of guys that start as two ways, get a good situation on a not good team, and start balling out. Now you've told a league that you're trying to get into, that isn't good enough for me.
0 or 100.
And I don't think, I'm all about betting on yourself, but I don't think you knock those opportunities that are presented to you. Now, granted, your dad's LeBron. You're going to have opportunities regardless. I don't think it's smart for me to sit up here and say, oh, it's only because of his talent. It's not because his last name is James. That's just false. Let's be honest. This is how the world works. These NBA teams and executives are going to be looking at him because his dad's LeBron. Because in a way, majority of them think, oh, if I get his son, there's a good chance I can get his father. Because at 40 years old, LeBron's still the best in the league. I don't care what nobody says. He's just on a really average team. So I think that it's important for Bronny As guys that have been in college athletics knows what it's like. We don't know what it's like to be LeBron's son, but we know what it's like to compete. Worry about what you got to worry about. Just focus on being the best basketball player you can be. Don't block out the outside noise. I feel like he does a really good job.
Really good at that.
Really good at blocking out the outside noise, doing what you have to do to chase your dream. Because I feel like at this point, we would know if it was, his dad's pushing him to play basketball. No, you can definitely tell this is something that he wants to do. So I say go for it, dog. And understand that people are going to have an opinion, whether you're dropping 30 or whether you're dropping 0. So you might as well just go out and do what you want to do.
Shit.
I'm just saying. They're going to have an opinion. I mean, if he goes into the NBA the first year, he may drop 0 because he may be learning and developing, like you said.
Just hearing dropping zeros. Funny to me.
I think my biggest thing about it is like not from a basketball. No. That's not from a basketball perspective because I played 1 year of basketball and I freaking sucked. Okay, it's terrible. I don't know anything about it. But I would say, leave him alone. Leave him alone, dude. Like it. There's plenty of other guys in this draft class that deserve some decent attention too. Mm-hmm. Like there's plenty of other good players. I can't name any of them because I don't know that, whatever. But I go fish all the time. I don't watch basketball. But I know for a fact, I don't have to know anything about basketball to know that there's not just one guy in college that might or might not be good enough to go into the draft. There's plenty that are very good enough to go into the draft and to contribute to an NBA team right now. Mm-hmm. So let's get off Bronny's back. Let him live. Let him be a freaking college kid. And give some of these other guys attention because they deserve it. You know they want it. So let's talk about them. Hey, are they good? Yeah, they're freaking good. So let's talk about that. Is Bronny good? Yeah, he's good. He might not be good enough to go into the NBA or whatever. I don't know. But, like, why are we talking about this? That goes a little bit with his last name, I guess. Because, Jordan's kids, who the heck knows what they do? They don't do anything.
They Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. That's it. But we still know. That's what I'm saying. People are not writing in magazines about who you're dating. No. But people
single out there, though, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking to a brother. You know what I'm saying?
But that's my only.
You got to.
That's my only point. It's just like, man, hey. There's plenty of other people in the draft class that are good enough for your attention. So get off that joker's back. Like, let him live.
I got you. Well, let's switch lanes and go back to the track. Hey, like the transition.
That wasn't bad. Oh, lanes. Oh,
yeah. We switching lanes and we're getting back to the track. And this is going to be our last segment, guys, because we got to get to Odie's.
Yeah, we do.
Sponsor us.
Did you learn that at TNT? Switch lanes? These transitions? Not bad.
If y'all didn't see me at the Final Four,
not bad.
I was on there.
And the champs, man. Yeah. And the championship game, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. All right, guys. The Olympics is coming up. The Olympic trials is coming up. And there are a lot of talented athletes out there in our sport. But the one that we need to talk about and give her flowers is the one and only Sydney Mclaughlin-Levrone. Mm-hmm. She's married. Shout out to Sid. Where does Sydney Mclaughlin-Levrone rank among the GOAT female track athletes?
2.
Who's
just
one?
Because she's not the Flojo.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come back to that.
Bro, if she's not one, I don't know who the heck. I don't know. I don't know.
The only reason I say 2 is because her career's not over.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Sydney, to me, and I respect all the guys' opinions. Sydney, to me, you're top 2, not 2. You're not done with your career, but you are definitely number 1 on the female track and field GOAT list because you made a great point. Her career is not over. But girl just showed us that she can go dominate in the 400 hurdles, have a world record. She can go out there and take a then world lead in the 200. Then she can go out there and take a world lead in the 400. And she barely runs. Like, she only shows up a few points here and there.
She was 0.5 off the American record. 0.05 off the American record, and Sonia Richards-Ross was sitting there commentating the race. And she has the American record.
The craziest part is their openers too, bro.
Yeah, that's
like
the
it's
whole
her first race. And if you watch the meet that she ran the 4, it was cold and windy.
Yeah.
It was so cold or cooler and windy there. You don't do that as an opener.
I've seen it with my own eyes twice, guys. Her first ever time breaking the world record, I was in Oregon. It was after I competed at the trials. She's out there in the prelims, and she blows the field out the water. And just seeing her reaction and the fans' reaction in that moment, I'm like, oh, she's different. We knew she was different. She was a one-and-done college player, but seeing that is crazy. Then I just seen it at Atlanta when she took the then world lead in the 400 hurdles, jogging. And it was kind of cool. She stutter-stepped at every hurdle. But she can go out there and run 53 or 52, whatever she ran.
Stutter stepping because she runs 22-0.
Like, guys, so does your argument change?
Yeah. She can win. That's fine. She's number one.
I give it to her.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will push back on that.
Yeah, she's showing her versatility, which I feel like is making her the GOAT.
Who the heck else do you know that's beaten her own world record, 6, 7 times?
I was literally just sitting here thinking, I was like, who is?
Like, think about Grant of indoor hurdles.
Yeah, he hasn't lost since when? 2014?
Yeah.
He hadn't lost, I mean, and God knows when. Now, outdoor, he still doesn't have the world record there. He still got that. But indoor hurdles, Grant's undisputed GOAT. Nobody can beat him.
Yeah.
So, like, think about Sydney in the 400 hurdles.
Yeah, she's different, bro. So there's a lot of positivity towards her way, but sometimes got to bring up the negatives, guys. What's my boy's name? Erin Brown. If you see this, you can come on the podcast too because we need to talk about this. But I want to read something and get your thoughts.
Bro, you want him on the pod, bro? Oh, you would get a heck of views.
I'm just saying. Look, guys, I'm gonna read the first thing he put out because I don't think he's wrong. Shout out to all the men who won NCAA titles this week. Unfortunately, statistics prove that we will never hear from them again. / this will be the best they will ever perform. And he's got an emoji with the stock going down. I don't think he's too off on that statement, but he got a lot of heat for it. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, hey, guys, when you're in Hayward, you can beat him for that natty, bro, and you're for team points, stuff like that. It's just a different feeling. So, like, statistically, he is correct. A lot of those people who win the natty and drop these incredible times don't ever get back to that phase, but they're not. They'll never PR, but they're not like dropping. Well, I guess a lot of them are just dropping off, but there's a good number who are just up there. But you can really say that about any sport. There are people who win national championships in basketball who don't even get drafted.
I think it's just more so because track is individualized, so you're under a microscope. Some people can be okay talent enough to get to the NBA, but float around and be on a solid team. So the focus is on the team rather than the individual. Like if you're looking at LeBron or a Russell Westbrook, people's eyes are on them. But in a track and field setting, everybody's eyes on you. So looking at this, you made a good point. Competing in Hayward is different. Like competing there twice is a crazy experience. But when it's okay.
Hey.
Sorry, bro. One year I get a national to go to Austin.
Swear. Hey, at least you went. But I think it is important, like you said, you're pushing for something, you're driving for something, so it's not going to be, you don't really have that in the pros unless you're like a Grant. Yeah. I don't believe.
I think it's just a little bit of like what we were talking about before we cut the cameras on. There's a ton of factors that go into, you don't ever know what's going on behind the scenes with these guys. Mm-hmm. Like you don't know if they pulled out that last ditch effort and just got a healthy race and got it going, and then all of a sudden their hamstrings or their quads feel like a freaking gravel road, and then you can't do anything after that, like, and that injury puts you down for long enough to where you never come back from it. Mm-hmm. Like you don't know what's happening, and to me, like, man, for that to be your takeaway of the national championship, like, man, there's no need for all that negativity. Like,
I don't, you know me, we're not here to knock people, but I don't know if he has some pretty good times. I know he got really popular on the road thing and kind of calling out specific people. I don't really know how that started, but I don't personally know. You can fact check me if he's been to nationals and competed at Hayward. And I just feel like there's a certain amount of respect that you have to have just for your peers or people within college that are competing, especially that level.
Hey, bro. Hey, bro. I mean, he was saying some controversial things. At the end of the day, he's an entertainer. He's a respect to him. The dude was on Dr. Phil. He was on Judge Mathis.
Yeah.
The dude is a really good entertainer. Like, give flowers to him. He's like the Stephen A. of track and field right now. So, whether you like him or don't like him, you're watching him. So, like, I think that's where his approach is. And as a marketer, kudos to you because you're doing a good job.
But do you feel like it's good to market off other people's demise though?
Oh no, people are gonna hate you. Yeah.
Because this one.
But it's just that if you want it to be that point where I'm gonna get those views no matter what, that's your choice. You have to live with those consequences later. 1.1
million views.
Case in point.
Something about Gabby Thomas just makes me not want to see her medal at the Olympics. ... I just can't put my finger on it. First off, Gabby Thomas, we love you. We respect you. If you want to come on the podcast, I would love to sit down with you.
Pretty sure you're my mom's favorite track athlete. She loves watching you run, by the way.
Very smart. Harvard grad, NCAA champion.
In a blazer on the track.
Coming here for no reason.
I don't understand why you put this out. Erin, like I said, we don't disrespect nobody. But if you want to come on the pod and tell us why, we would like to know. But things like this is where I talked about hopping on people and kind of leveling up off the like. I don't see why this comment is relevant. Granted, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but why you put that out?
You got 1 million impressions. That's a marketing genius, but horrible long-term effects.
He's gotten blocked by a lot of people. USATF, Tara Davis. I don't know if Gabby blocked him. Her response was like, "This is so mean, but I'll be praying for you, like praying for healing or whatever." Diggs, what do you think?
Man, I didn't run I didn't run worth the crap. So if I get on here and start bashing him, I'm gonna be the next one on this video. This dude in this podcast. I don't give a dang about that, dude. I'm not about to start bashing you, but that is not the way that I would bring. I mean, I don't even think his goal is to bring light to track and field. I just think he wants the views, and I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, that's how people make money nowadays. But like, if you don't want to see Gabby Thomas succeed, you think after people reading that right there, you think people want to see you succeed? No.
But I don't think bro might care about people seeing him succeed.
I think he's weighed the cost and is willing to do it. Because if you're going like you said, Gabby Thomas, like one of the most liked athletes in America, like you weighed the decision and you decided to do that.
Hopefully he sees this, somebody tags him, and we can kind of get more of an insight. Cause I don't mind sitting down with bro just to kind of hear what he thinks. I mean, he's put up some pretty good numbers. It's just like the speed of his fingers out there.
I go, Cap, his videos be funny, bro. It'd be so funny. Out of pocket.
Hey, Erin, Titus loves you.
I know, I just love a good marketing ploy. Clickbait central for this guy.
That's true.
I might be absent when you come over here. I'm not gonna lie.
You can take Diggs' seat.
Yeah,
all right,
you
guys,
can.
let's wrap it up because we got to get to Odie's. Olympics is coming up, like I said. Who are you looking forward to the most?
I got one.
Go ahead.
I want to see Rye Benjamin beat Karsten Warholm so bad. I do. I really do. I really like. I don't have a reason to dislike Karsten Warholm. I think he's a dog. I actually love the way his race plan is because he freaking goes out and just. I mean, he runs like hell's fury. Like, I mean, his pants are on fire, blazing. But I really like Rye Benjamin, and I love a good comeback story. And I know his world kind of crumbled there because he was the favorite by a mile to win last Olympics, and he didn't. Him and Michael Norman, I want Rye and Michael to do so well. So those are the ones that I really want to see.
You talk about a comeback story. Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yep.
That is my go-to who I'm looking forward to seeing the most in this year's Olympics because I was at the trials when all the stuff broke out with her and, you know, the failed drug test and then seeing the world come and getting somebody and everybody have their opinions. Everybody want to bash her when she's down and then her able to come back, go through all those adversities, really fall down and spin back, world champion. But this is the Olympics, and this is what the moment was. I'm not going to say it was taken away from her, but she missed that moment last time. And I feel like this year is her moment to really not even shut up everybody, just to show everybody, despite my pitfalls, despite my highs, despite my lows, I'm her. I've been her. and I'm going to show y'all. And so, Sha'Carri Richardson, I'm looking forward to Paris.
World record 400-meter hurdles, Femke versus Sydney. I think it's going to under 49. You have Femke Bol, the indoor world record holder. You have Sydney Mclaughlin opening at 48 in the 400. Only running one race so far before the trials. I think it's going to be a world record.
I think it's going to be
I think it's going to be under 50.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really have a whole lot of faith in the one that ain't wearing the USA on that.
Oh, no, yeah. Sydney's going to win. But this is going to be a part where she's going to go crazy.
What's the number going to be?
I say 49 mid.
An interesting take that I just thought about sitting here now is the USA track and field team's last Olympics. It's not that great.
That's true.
So really, you can put anybody on the pedestal and think about anybody that's a returner in that USA uniform. They're trying to get their get back.
Yeah.
Like Grant didn't win, Rye didn't win, Michael Norman didn't win.
We got a lot of people out, though, too.
That's what I'm saying.
Britton's out, Trayvon Burmell's out,
Yep.
Kayla White's out.
So all these people, the people who are returners, like I'm saying, the ones that were there last in Tokyo, the ones that are coming back. This is not just a normal track meet, man. They're trying to get their get back, and I'm excited about it.
Javon, I'm looking forward to see what you do. I forgot about you, bro. I can't forget about a high jump, brother. Looking forward to seeing what you can do. But guys, that's all the time we have. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Maybe next episode, Erin Brown will be sitting here or Gabby Thomas will be sitting here. But we appreciate you guys sitting wherever you're watching this podcast. Please subscribe, like, comment. Shout out to Landon Wright. What's it, Landalorian? Yep. Landalorian. Yes, follow him on Instagram. He is capturing this episode today. And we out. We're going to see y'all for the next one.